high limit hold'em. Let's play some cards.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CardPlayer.com's The Circuit. We are here at the WPT Mirage Poker Showdown. The sexiest radio crew in poker is here for you. Scott Huff alongside Gavin Smith and Joe Sebok. Our guest is already in studio for you.
Sorry for bringing down the median, guys.
He is headed to the final table.
We've got the sexiest radio show and Gavin.
And a 2, which brings us to about a 5.5. We have Rob Mizrachi in the studio here. He is headed to the final table, second in chips. Rob, thanks for being here, man.
Anytime, buddy.
All right, let's read off these chip counts quickly.
Anytime, as long as it means the final table, right?
Exactly, right? Stan Weiss has the chip lead right now with $2.4 million. Rob right on his heels with right around $2 million, $2,019,000. He is followed by Devin Porter with $964,000 in chips. David Williams has $921,000. Harry Demetriou with $822,000, and Steve Frederick with $545,000.
Didn't Harry start the day with $822,000?
I think you did, yeah.
I mean, exactly.
Right about. I
honestly think he's within
That's pretty bizarre.
like 40,000 of where he started the day. That's unbelievable.
So, Rob, why don't you tell us kind of how you got here? Walk us through from day one to now. Some big hands, whatever went down.
First day, I was playing pretty solid. I knocked out a whole bunch of players on my table.
Knocked everybody out.
And I was going upscale, real smoothly until, day 2, I was playing solid. Got a couple big hands and cruised along, and I'm right there today. I didn't really take any coin flips till today. And it's worked out perfect so far.
It's just that easy.
If you're a Mizrachi, apparently it's just that easy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just in case anyone hears the background noise, of course, as you know, the Mizrachi crew travels together.
Right.
You've heard our final table preview shows before with the Mizrachis, and there's always a band of brothers up here together. So Mike's in the background. You can probably hear him. He's made a few final tables this year. So were there any key hands at all today, though? Any big coin flips that you had to win? Or
just that one with the 9s.
Tell us about that hand.
Well, I open up 3 times the blind. I think the blinds were 10-20. I made it 60,000. Mm-hmm. The guy calls a 60 and makes it 200 more. So I sense weakness there. I seemed like he didn't want to call pre-flop, and he would try to take it down right there. I figured middle pair, and then I knew I had like 300,000 more than him, and I decided to push him all in and make him to the test, put him to the test.
And you had...
And he instantly called me, which was crazy because I thought I was going to see aces or kings there.
And what'd you have again, Rob?
I had ace-king.
You had ace-king.
Yeah.
Nice hand, sir.
Nice hand, sir. Well, I mean... It's tough. I mean, obviously, you put him on the right hand. We were just saying before we came on the air, I mean, when you're at this stage of a tournament and you push in on somebody and they call you in a flash, you're immediately the shit.
Yeah,
aces or kings.
Yeah, I was like, I hope he has kings so he has 3 outs.
So at least you have a chance.
Right. I was like, oh, my God, if I see aces, man, and it was like an instant call. It was like, I'm all in the call. You know what I mean? It was like,
you had to think you're screwed.
Right, because if he thought for like 3 minutes, I would be like, okay, good, it's a coin flip at,
sure.
At worst,
For sure.
Because he wouldn't think for that long with kings, because couple plays earlier, he made a lot of mistakes. And
how much of his stack did he have in with his raise? How much did he have total?
260.
Well, he had 260 in the pot, and I believe he had like 500 more behind him, which could have been an easy fold there, with 9s. I mean, if he runs into an overpair, best he could be is 50-50, so I don't understand, Well, he was a kamikaze player.
Although last year at this time, I made the same play on Gene Todd where he had 8s, and best he could be is 50-50, but he actually had me crippled because I had 7s.
Right.
Just failed to realize my sucker potential.
It's the Canadian 8s for 7s always wins, just like grind.
It's also one of the things with this hand, too, because it was dramatic, right? You hit the king on the river.
Yeah, I hit the king on the river.
So if he flat calls you, he's probably going to win. If he flat calls
me, he's probably going to win the pot.
Because it was all under the 9s, right, on the flop?
Well, I had first position on him, so, I mean, it all depends on what I was thinking at that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
could have been a lot
most
different.
Most likely, he might win the pot,
Well, did the flop come with anything higher than a 9?
Flop comes to 7-7-10, so it seems like...
if you fire at that, then you're probably going to. I mean, if you just flat calls.
Right, yeah, I'm probably going to fire. But I know
he's in a hard spot to call there with 9s.
But I don't think he's going to call. I think he's either going to push in or lay it down.
I'll tell you why I'm going to release it, because 20 hands before this, Harry Demetriou went at it with him. Mm-hmm. And he called all in on the flop with a Jack 9 with Ace King, and Harry had eights. He called 300,000 on a Jack 9 flop. So I mean, if my read is correct, I'm going to put him on 8s, 9s, or 10s. You know, I got to check fold there. He could have had a full house or quads there too on my read. Right. You know, so I mean, I'm going to check fold if he smooth calls and stick around with 800,000. Sure.
So let's hear it then. Who's your biggest threat at the table tomorrow?
I would say David, but I'm not scared of the way he plays because I know the way he plays. But I think he's definitely the biggest threat, though. Harry Dimitri to my left is kind of, I don't know. I take David. He's definitely the biggest threat.
Well, David's certainly been here a couple times now. He's picking up experience quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we step into the actually handicapping the entire final table, I heard you ran into kind of an irritating situation yesterday. You had Eric directly on your right.
Yeah.
I heard you guys actually wanted to be moved apart just because the situation kind of sucks when you have the two brothers next to each other. What happened there?
I don't want to take down family. I'd rather take down other people. And I was hoping Eric would be there with me on the final table. He was playing good, except he got short stacked and.
So you guys didn't have any big confrontations?
No, me and Eric didn't have any big confrontations. He kept bullying me around, and I had to fold. I don't want mom to ground me.
It's actually pretty interesting because I have the same situation obviously with my dad, where we've been at the same table a million times. We've been together at tables, and we generally just try to stay out of each other's way.
Right.
It's not. It's certainly there's certain hands that I won't call with him, like trap hands, like ace suiteds and stuff, where I could get him all in on some kind of draw or something. I don't know if you play similarly to that.
Well, it's like pretty hard. Like you said, stay out of your dad's way. Your dad and my brother play almost 80% of the hands.
Right.
So if you're going to stay out of the way, you're going to probably not play any hands.
Right. Yeah. No. It's true. It's true to a certain degree. I don't know. I hate it though. I hate it. It's the worst. It's exactly what you said. You don't want to be taken down by someone in your family.
I think that they should have rules where brothers or spouses shouldn't be on the same table unless obviously if there's 6 left or 10 left, and then you're gonna have to play the game anyways because it's gonna be
at
on
that
TV.
Point. They do. For starting days, if you pull someone in your family, you can get it switched. Just for starting days.
Really?
Just for starting days.
No kidding.
Well, they made us move after the third day. So
in Tunica, Grinder and I sat next to each other, and I feel the same way. I don't want to hurt family.
Well, let's take a look at the guys you're going to be up against tomorrow. You already said that you thought David Williams, you'd have to give him the biggest threat. But let's start at the top with who's our chip leader here.
Stan
His name is that's right, Stan Weiss, 2,437,000 in chips. We'll start with you, Rob, on each one of these guys. What do you think about his game from what you've seen so far?
I think he's really tight, but he's a psycho. I think that he takes his hands way too far. I've seen him push all in on a king queen rag board on a turn with pocket jacks and shows it like he made a great play. It was just
obviously he's trappable, right? If he was able to get all that money against David.
I agree with you totally, but I think that there was no pot there, and he was putting all his chips in with the hand that he can only get beat.
All right, he's certainly not going to get called,
unless he's beat, right? For sure, but. And then he's easy to trap. If I flop a set, you can't get over with an overpair. Top pair, he's there all the way. Yeah.
Well, he's obviously running pretty well. He won the $500 buy-in here at the Mirage. I think that was probably the first or one of the first open events here. One of the preliminary events.
Yeah, he's running very well.
Yeah, won like 75,000 or something like that. So it's obviously running well and possibly playing.
I remember last year it was a person who won it twice. Maybe Stan Weiss has got a little.
Who was that?
A little Smith
Gavin
magic.
Smith?
A little Smith magic on.
He might have that Canadian luck.
Is he Canadian?
I don't know.
Wow.
So do we know anything else about him other than the fact that he did win this 500 and that he's a tight psycho?
We know that his friends call him Stan the Man.
Do we? All right.
How does that tight
inside
psycho,
information?
Right. Well, how does that tight psycho style work at this final table, considering the type of blind structure there is? How is that going to?
Well, it's going to be tough. You got Dave right to your left and Robbie right to his left. So he's got a lot coming tomorrow. If he's
in a real bad
that,
seat. Yeah, he's in a real bad seat. But remember, I said Devin. Had the seat from hell at the other place.
Yeah, well, and he ended up,
not Devin Davidson. He came second.
But he has a ton of chips as well, and that's always one of the equalizers when it comes down to this.
Except for when he plays the hand with Robbie, he's not going to have a ton of chips. He'll have 400,000 left.
Right. Well, maybe he'll be smart enough to try not to. I certainly, if I was in that position with you as the only guy, it looks like that can really, really hurt him. I just wouldn't play a pot with you for a while. But that's me.
All right, so obviously you're next, so we don't need to handicap you. Devin Porter has 964,000 in chips. What do you think about his game, Rob?
Devin's been playing pretty solid, but, it seems like you could outplay him a lot after the flop. It seems like, he's easy to get off of unless he really hits a big hand. And it seems like, he pays you off, too. Like, if he hits the flop, he'll pay you off all the way. I tried bluffing him out of pot, which was, like, the only bluff I had caught the whole tournament, and he made a miraculous call. It seemed like I had trip kings. Dave was like, wow, Rob's got the king. How could you call? And then I turn over, I had a bluff and I had a muck. But it was a great call by him. But it seems like, he can't get out of a hand.
Have you guys played with him at all? Gavin or Joe?
No, I know he made the final table at Aruba.
He did, that's right.
That's all I know about him.
But I haven't
fourth, I believe.
Haven't played much with him, but
he's actually the one who busted the bear in Aruba.
Well, that hand in and of itself tells you a lot,
Yeah, that hand in Aruba was ridiculous.
That hand was it screamed inexperience.
That's exactly what Rob is saying. Not only does it scream inexperience, that he can't get away from a hand. In that hand, Barry raised under the gun. Devin came over him, and Barry re-raised them all in. Exactly, and he called him in a flash with ace jack. And Barry had ace king.
Barry had ace king, but he had a jack on the flop. So I mean, a move like that screams inexperience.
And they both had a lot of chips. I mean, it wasn't a situation where you wanted to be putting it all in with ace jack at all.
Last year, the World Series, would Joe Sebok have made that move?
Last year at the World Series, Joe Sebok did make that move, but Joe Sebok would not make that move today.
So next is David Williams. We talked a little bit about his game, saying he's the biggest threat, but I mean, he's certainly getting there quite often. You guys keep saying on the show, well, how does he keep getting a hold of so many chips? I mean,
a big
what
part
is it
of
about his game?
Well, I'm going to let Rob first answer, and then I'll chime in.
Well, he could definitely move the chips around pretty well. He plays flops pretty good, and I see him getting down at least top 3 tomorrow, for sure. I think that he's got a lot of potential, and unless he, gets careless and gets caught bluffing tomorrow, he should get far. Seems like he's outplaying everyone after the flop. Raising a lot, doing what he's got to do.
And I think that's a big thing with David. I mean, he does bluff a lot. He does a lot of crazy things, but he gets paid off a lot, and that's probably one of the reasons he's able to pick up these chips, because people are always like, David can't be there. He can't be there. And of course he's there some of the time, so he's going to pick up a lot of chips at that point. And again, the experience factor. I mean, he's done this. He's been in a couple.
He's
got no fear.
Certainly not going to affect him in that sense.
There's going to be 3 or 4 guys there that are going to be kind of afraid. It's their first time there, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I've never been there before, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
I mean, I've made
you've got some experience, and you've got that EPT victory and whatnot. So I mean, you got a lot more going on than your average first timer WPT final table guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next guy on the list here is Harry Demetriou. I think a lot of people out here know him from World Series of Poker coverage. They've seen him. He has not made a World Poker Tour final table. Is that correct?
I don't believe so.
He doesn't play many, though.
He's taking 822,000 in chips. He actually made a final table at this World Series also. He obviously didn't play. That's right. He just somehow he also didn't have to pay the blinds.
I was like, what?
It was amazing that he
also didn't have to pay the blinds.
It was amazing that he was given permission to just sit out the day.
What do you think about Harry's game, Rob?
I think Harry plays a solid game, but I think that he could get a little careless with the hands pre-flop. I think that
he'll try to trick you too.
Yeah, he's a little tricky.
He suffers from fancy play syndrome a little too much sometimes.
Yeah, but I think he'll be easy to chop. I'm not mad that he's to my left. I mean, I'd rather have him to my left than Dave or the guy with the chip lead, obviously.
Right.
I think Harry's gonna fight like hell to stay out of your way, man. I don't think he's gonna do anything too tricky against you.
No, he's been staying out of my way a few times. I mean, he came over the top with me a few times pre-flop, and I got out of his way because I bet he
had it too.
Yeah, he probably had it.
What do you guys know about his game?
Nothing more than what we said. I mean, he's a pretty solid player, but I've never actually seen him get a little out of line in terms of overcomplicating his play. Everything I've seen from him, he's been pretty solid and hasn't done a whole lot.
I think he goes. I think he's capable. He generally a lot of times will go solid. Right. A little too tricky, lose a bunch of chips. And one thing that I do notice about Harry that I don't like about his game is he's really quick to try to teach everybody at the table. So I mean, he's giving up a ton of information about the way he plays. He'll be explaining to you how he plays, and he'll be showing you cards all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know.
That's
I just
a clear
think,
mistake.
Yeah, I just don't think that's a real wise play.
No, of course not. Of course not.
You definitely pick 50 people I'd rather have to my left than him.
Yeah, you think?
So the final player here, number 6, taking the short stack to the final table is Steve Frederick, 545,000. We have a little bit of information on him. He won $1,000 preliminary event at the Caesars World Series of Poker circuit, like 66,000 or something. So obviously he's running somewhat hot too, playing pretty well. What do you think about his game?
Well, I definitely respect his raises quite a bit. When he's raises, he's got it 99.9% of the time. And I don't want to come over the top of him unless I really got it.
I think you could probably add that 10%.
Yeah, definitely.
100% of the time. Yeah, this guy's very, very tight.
Of the time.
I think so.
Did you play with him at all?
I've played with him in the past. He's one of these guys that he sort of befriended me a little bit, and I could never remember his name until now, actually. And he just does not strike me as being even remotely capable of bluffing. The only way he might get a little bit out of line is when he gets short. He might shove with king queen or something.
Right. That's out of line.
And that's going to be about it for him. I mean, he's just not going to do anything too funky.
So basically, you guys are saying he's going to be a non-factor, probably.
It depends. If he gets hit over the head with the deck, he's not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, if he's
that
flops,
tight, though,
he could,
Tight guys can sometimes get hands.
Well, yeah, but if the high guy gets a hand and he pushes all his chips in the middle, he has a hand.
Yeah, but a lot of the other people will still pay it off.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, for sure. Some of these guys. Yeah.
So there's your 6, everyone out there in listener land. Now we'll start with you, Rob. Why don't you give us a breakdown of how you think the final 6 will end up in order tomorrow? I'm assuming I know who you're going to put at number 1, but after number 1.
Well, I've never been good at picking trifectas, but now 6, wow.
This is a sexfecta. Yeah, that's right.
Well, what I'm hoping for is me winning it, then Dave Williams, then probably the chip leader, Steve.
Yep.
No, I mean Stan. And then I think probably that kid Devin will come 4th. Mm-hmm. Then maybe Steve, and I think Harry Demetrio will. I don't know, but
There you go.
But it's just tough to say. I like I think everybody on the table has a shot.
Right.
I mean, it was just you never know.
Cool.
All right, well, we've heard from Rob, but you're going to have to wait to hear from the sexiest crew in poker radio. We're going to take a quick break, sell some stuff for Bodog, and when we get back, our predictions for the WPT Mirage Poker Showdown Final Table.
It's important that a man learns a thing or two about the predators lurking around the soft felt of the poker table. The hustler. Now there's a dangerous animal. Beware. He'll try to confuse you with his fast chatter and table talk. He's a smooth operator. Yep, a real wheeler dealer. Learn the tools to play poker online at Bodog.com, because every man deserves to be king of his jungle. Bodog.com. Poker. Play hard.
This is Gus Hansen. Thanks for listening to The Circuit.
Welcome back to The Circuit, kids. We are here at the WPT Mirage Poker Showdown. We have the whole Mizrachi crew in with us right now as we're heading to the WPT Final Table tomorrow. Special guest in studio with us right now. He is leading in the the Card Player of the Year points race now.
He wasn't good enough to win the WPT Player of the Year.
Oh, that's not very nice to say. He is leading in the Card Player of the Year points race by a lot.
And tomorrow,
Michael the Grinder Mizrachi.
Tomorrow, Rob will be leading in the WPT Player of the Year race.
It's
true.
There you go.
That's
true.
Why is Rob up close if he wins this thing? Does he have a bunch
this
of...
is the first one, dude.
True enough. Yeah. So anyone could be leading right now, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think here? Your brother's going to the final table now. You're letting somebody else have a shot, and they have to have the last name Mizrachi in order to make a final table, apparently.
Yep. First off, we had Eric still in this tournament. It was 27 left. Eric and Rob were still in, so I was rooting for both of them. It felt like I was still in. 2 Mizrachi brothers, and now Rob made it. I expected one of them to make the final 6, and Robert's there right now, and he's looking real good. And he's probably the best player on the table, I feel, the strongest. And after tomorrow, Robert will be second in the Player of the Year race for Card Player. He's going to be my challenge for the rest of the year.
That's
awesome.
ridiculous.
That'd be fantastic.
I mean, I have to say, it's pretty unbelievable. We've had, what have we gone to, maybe 10 events total since we started doing this radio show. And, Grinder, you have been at so many of these Final Table preview shows. This is your 3rd one where you've either been going or someone you know very close to you has been going. But let's talk a little bit about your success, over the past year and coming into this year. It's pretty unbelievable. You're leading our Player of the Year race. How do you feel about your game? Obviously pretty good.
Well, my game's shaping up. I start off real good in January and February, then sort of the March slack a little bit, then I come back in April, then I made my last final table with Joe Sebok, and
How'd that go?
Not too well. I mean, it was a very easy table. I mean, we were running over this table, and
it was ridiculous.
I didn't have to get involved with him, but I was like, I don't think Joe's gonna call me unless he has top set or tens or jacks. He might lay it down there just because he knew the table was so easy.
And what I have?
He had top set.
Top set. There you go.
I took my gamble with enough flush draw.
Yeah.
Bad decision, but the blinds were so high at that point, and this might have been probably the easiest table I've ever been on in a poker
literally,
tournament.
it was unbelievable. I think that was the only hand we even played against each other.
Yeah,
because I didn't care. I was standing. I just was like play with anybody at the table except for you.
Yeah, we
sure.
both had the huge stacks, and the guy in C2 had no idea what he's doing.
He had less. Yeah, I doubled up through the guy. I flopped a set. He ended up calling me. All my chips doubled me up. He had a 9. The board was like queen 9, 7, 4.
Yeah, he was just asking me about that hand.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, but half hour before I came upstairs.
What'd you tell him? You were like,
Scott,
dude, you played it pretty
this is
bad.
our final table preview show. Okay, this isn't our post
bonding here,
celebration Joe Sebok victory tour. Okay,
well, that's what Sebok likes, though. It is his victory tour. We should have a victory tour.
Seriously,
hit every bar on the strip, and just it's a shot for every single time that Joe Sebok has won.
That
should be one. It's one at each bar, though. That's the point.
I love it.
Well, tomorrow I'm hoping for Rob and Dave Williams heads up because Dave is one of my best friends, and Rob's my brother, so
should be fun.
It should
and either
be
way,
fun.
And if it ends up Dave and Rob, either way, we all got a great party to go to.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm feeling that for sure. For sure. So, Grinder, what do you attribute all this success to? I mean, what is it about your game right now that is just making you an absolute maniac on this tour where
you
just
see it's in the
it?
genes.
Yeah, apparently that's something. That has something to do with it.
Rob's doing it. I mean, Eric's doing it. And I had a first and second finish with me and Eric the last time about a month and a half ago in the limit tournament. Now my mom plays every day. I mean, we're just all around poker, and all my best friends play poker. And we're around great poker players, and we all teach each other new things. What should we do in every situation, and just learn from your mistakes, and we just become better and better.
So when's your next win going to be? Where's your next final table?
Hopefully it's in the World Series, but Mandalay Bay's coming up, and I'm going to sneak over to Commerce to play those little $500 ones.
What about New Orleans?
What is it? You kind of said before you like to kind of crush people's dreams. What's the deal? You just have to get in there, and these guys, they scrape together $500 or they satellite their way in, and they're like, I'm not going to play against a grinder.
I hear it
all.
My
neighbor.
I hear it all the time. Mike Mattisell put me out there now, and I say it's not the whole truth. I mean, I play these small tournaments just for practice, and just I set it up for those 10,000 events, try new things, try new moves.
You can try different things.
I play somewhat crazy, and it's working out in these smaller events. And I made the last 2 final tables. I mean, I got bad finishes, 4th and 6th, but I mean, I had a chip lead going in twice. I mean, at some point on the final table.
Right.
And now you can actually, by playing these smaller events and making it to the final table, picking up those little rogue points that you can add to your Player of the Year points total, you can actually hold off men at the end of the year when he plays like 16,000 tournaments in a row. You'll have that extra cushion, right?
Hopefully I can play half as what he played last year.
Yeah. Well, we want to get your prediction while we have you in here for this final table. Pick us the final 6. We'll see who does the best. You guys want to do a side bet?
Yeah, I'm in.
4 of us right here. We can't put it on Rob because he's got to obviously pick himself. But Grinder, you want in?
We'll put up 100.
Okay.
And you get.
I can't put up 100. Look at my salary. Come on,
Okay,
$20.
We'll put up 100 and you put up 20.
We'll give you odds.
You get a little overlay.
All right.
Because you're Scott Huff, and we love you. So it's 100, 100, 120. Now, here's how it's going to work.
We have to come, points.
You get 6 points for picking the winner, 5 for picking second, 4 for picking third, all the way down to 1 for picking sixth.
Okay. Yep.
If you pick the man and he finishes in the wrong spot, you get 0 points for that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Grinder, you in on this?
For sure.
I'm in.
All right.
Easy
Start
money.
with the Grinder. Easy money, he says. Take it away.
I'm just going to mirror his picks.
And winner take all. And the winner takes the 320.
All
right.
Okay, I got first place goes Rob. Second place goes DW. Third place, I would say Stan Weiss. Fourth place, Demetrio, and fifth place probably goes Devin, and I don't know if Steve might get there. I don't know. I'm going to take Steve actually for 5th and Devin for 6th.
All right, we got it down already.
Is super producer Danny Engelhoff or whatever your last name is taking this down?
No. Oh, it's on the show.
It's on the show, you knucklehead. It's recorded.
It's recorded forever.
I am recording it.
Ooga booga.
Ooga booga.
Caveman does not understand technology.
Caveman not know.
All right. I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to go from 6 down to 1.
All right. Yeah. Suspense.
Yeah. In 6th place, I am going to take Devin Porter.
Wow.
He stole that.
In 5th place, I'm going to take Harry Demetria. 4th place, I'm going to take Stan Weiss. third place, I'm going to take Steve Frederick.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. Third place, I'm going to take David Williams. Second place, I'm going to take Steve Frederick. And to take down the title is my brother, Rob Mizrachi.
Alrighty.
Nice.
Pass it right along here to
Some
Joe.
bold picks. All right.
The Cubs.
I'm going. Don't call me that, dude. I'm gonna.
Let's go, come on, Cubby.
I'm gonna punch you in the
Cub.
pancreas.
The Cubs picks are
All right. Here we go. Sixth place. We're gonna go with Steve Frederick. I don't see it happening. I don't see him doing much. Harry Demetrio is gonna go with fifth, so we're not gonna have much change there. Stan Weiss is gonna drop down to fourth. We're going to put David Williams in third. And I think Devin is going to finish second. And Big Daddy Rob over there is going to take down the title.
I think everyone's deathly afraid of Rob.
I'd
They're
like
not
to
willing to pick him
deviate,
going
and
anywhere but first.
The truth is, though, he's standing behind me with a beer bottle.
Yeah.
So he's about to knock me the hell out. I have to
Don't
pick
say
him.
Rob won't finish first. Well, I guess there's no way I can lose by picking Rob to come in first now since, there's a way I can lose, but at least I can't lose those first place points. So I'm going to pick Rob to finish first. I am going to pick a little do-si-do at the top. I'm going to have Stan Weiss coming in second. Then I'm going to take David Williams in third as well. I'm going to take Harry Demetrio in fourth, Devin Porter in fifth, and Steve Frederick in sixth.
All right.
Those are my picks, and I think they're winners, boys and girls. All right, the final table starts tomorrow, which is, for all of you listening to this right now, today, Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. We will have live updates in the logs at cardplayer.com, hand-by-hand coverage right up until the winner. I'll have a video interview with the winner as well. We are going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll close out the show for you.
It's important that a man learns a thing or two about the predators lurking around the soft felt of the poker table. The underdog. Now there's a dangerous animal. Beware. He'll be awkward and make rookie mistakes. Then, wham, dinner time. Learn the tools to play poker online at Bodog.com, because every man deserves to be king of his jungle. Bodog.com. Poker. Play hard.
All right, we'd like to thank our guest tonight, Rob Mizrachi. Best of luck to him tomorrow. And Michael, the Grinder Mizrachi, for coming on. We'd like to thank the Mirage for hosting us all week long. Thanks to Joe Sebok and Gavin Smith. And thanks to our super producer, Danny Engelhoff.
He's
Thanks,
the man
Danny.
that makes it happen.
Thanks to all the interns.
Way to go,
And to all you
Danny.
interns that are listening into this that we said you'd be on this week, we're going to have to pick you up at the Mandalay Bay. I'll be calling each one of you individually. We'll finish out that contest from there. Next stop, the Mandalay Bay. Thanks for listening to The Circuit all week, kids.
Good night, everyone.